Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're going to do another live this week. We were going to talk to a couple of coaches tonight, but I figured I am getting an avalanche of frustrated families, frustrated coaches, frustrated athletes, and I really think this would be a good time to call a timeout. We're still at the early stage of our summer season. And I think we need to take a deep breath and we really need to know the realities. We can't do all this speculative kind of running around and racing around. And there's a lot of bad information, a lot of misinformation, and I really want to kind of take some time and cover that tonight. So wherever you're watching from, if you have a question, I want you to feel free to ask it, because again, we are live. This is a Q&A format. I've received so many correspondences. I want parents to understand, if you've reached out to me this week, this has been an unusually active week with portal athletes that I've never worked with prior to this week, that are just coming at me. I'm getting a lot of high school athletes that have been decommitted, for lack of a better word or term. And I really have never seen anything quite like this. This is primarily due to the settlement, obviously, but I want to first start by saying, before we go any further, I want you to subscribe. Just hit the subscribe button. Go over to YouTube. If you're on X, you're on Facebook, you're on TikTok, go over to YouTube. Find Coach Beede. Just hit subscribe. It's absolutely free, and it astounds me that so many people are paying thousands, literally tens of thousands. The people that I have worked with this week have spent in excess of $10,000 or more for recruiting services. Now, I'm not going to mention names. I really don't care about that. But to me, $10,000 and that to me is just mind-boggling. And I'm happy to help, and I'm happy to fix where I can and where I'm capable. But to me, spending $10,000 in college recruiting really is very, very difficult. Now, for those parents, I want you to subscribe. I want you to hit the thumbs up. I want you to share the content. I want you to engage in the content. I know we have a very short kind of attention span. I don't know if people realize, when I do this kind of content, it's really counterproductive, because the average, and this is a fact, the average watch time for social media viewing is 27 seconds. So I've gone over that. So most of you have probably turned and gone away to watch a short or a reel or what have you. If you're still with me, thank you. Want to also let you know, a membership. So when I get these emails, hey, can you help me? My son is in the portal. My son just got a call, that he's not welcome to come to school. They're going to honor his money, but they don't have a baseball roster spot. Can you help? I do a lot of that. This week I've probably done well over 70. I think this morning, my wife told me it was 73 people. Now, a membership for the YouTube channel, which you can browse at your leisure, and there's plenty of content that's added every single week. Courses, books, audio books. We have information directly from college coaches, catching instructors, infield instructors, strength and conditioning, nutrition. We're hearing from pitching coaches. We have a brand new pitching course that's going up. All of that for $20 a month. Like, stop for a second and just think, $20 a month. Netflix, Hulu, Tubi. I mean, these things are $25 a month, and you're watching a movie. Here I am. I can tell you all kinds of information that you're going to receive. Brad Nessendorf from LSU Shreveport, Coach's Corner. We're going to be talking to Dave Van Horn at Arkansas, College Coach's Corner. $20 a month. You get so much content. I can't believe it. Now, let's talk about the panic and the chaos. And again, can you just hit a thumbs up wherever you are right now? Hit the like button if you're on X. Hit the like button if you're on TikTok. Hit the like button if you're on Facebook. If you're here on YouTube, just like it. Just hit the thumbs up and engage. Just leave a comment. Watching from Bermuda, watching from Ohio, watching from Washington. It helps the algorithm. Now, today, much like my day yesterday, because of the athletes in the portal and a lot of the high school athletes, I take the time to call college coaches, NAIA, JUCO, just help the young man from the portal go from Division I baseball to a JUCO, a Division I JUCO, Blinn in Texas. That took me 3 days, 2 days. He visited on Monday, accepted on Monday afternoon. So I'm talking with the college coaches. They all to a man say the same things. And parents, you need to hear this. First and foremost, travel baseball is not an identification area to the degree that it was with regard to recruiting. Now, college staffs may be at events, but the numbers are greatly reduced. Right now, college coaches are at college summer leagues. I've been saying this for well over a year. I wrote a book about it 2 years ago. Now everything's coming to fruition. And now here are some facts for parents. One, college athletics, all levels, all divisions. They're very patient. Those athletes now that are entering the portal, they have high aspirations and goals. They want to go from maybe Division III to Division I, maybe lower level Division I, higher level of Division I. When that doesn't occur and time begins to run out, and oh, by the way, as of this day recording, which is June 26th, we have over 6,000 athletes in the portal. We have probably 40 to 50 entering every day. And probably Monday, June 30th, we'll have a couple hundred more entering. Now, you might ask yourself, why are these athletes waiting so long to enter the portal? Well, that's a good question. It's because somebody is tapping them on the shoulder and say, hey, I know you're not in the portal, but if you were in the portal, there might be some name, image, and likeness or money in there for you. And so athletes from all over college are entering the portal. We've also had some recent coaching changes. We also have some graduate students. And the graduate students and the coaching changing, the universities that are, basically having a coaching change, those athletes can enter the portal after July 1st. But, once July 1st occurs, from that point, a lot of the coaches, it's much like fishing. They kind of wait. And then as all of the athletes begin to lower their expectations, now the NAIA comes into play. Sometimes it could be a lower level Division II or Division III at the NCAA level for those athletes that have eligibility as freshmen or sophomores, maybe the ones that just got decommitted. Take a look on social media. You see all these athletes that are decommitting from schools. They're not decommitting. They're just being told that we can make sure you have money from your scholarship, but there won't be a roster spot for you. So we can yell at college coaches all we want, but this is just the new reality. And so what I try to get parents to understand, especially of high school athletes, the new era does three things that are going to be forever from this point forward with regard to high school athletes. High school athletes. Number one, the days of 8th, 9th, 10th, and even 11th grade athletes, freshman, sophomore, junior in high school. You're not going to be actively recruited. If you're a junior, August 1st, there may be some contact, but not as aggressively as once were. High school seniors, if you're not working towards becoming prepared to be a college athlete, at what point do you think that's going to occur? It's not going to occur at the college level as frequently as it used to. Every college coach that I take the time to talk to tells me, Walt, I used to be able to bring guys in from the high school level, give them a couple years to develop, and whatever they became as either redshirt sophomores or juniors, they were part of the program. And now, with the roster cap at 34, those days of developing are pretty much done. And turnovers now at the rosters, for all rosters, really, to be perfectly honest with you, they're going to turn over every year, because if you're not productive or you did not mature as far as your skill sets, mentally, physically, coaches are just going to move forward. They're just going to move on. It's not personal. These coaches at all levels now, they're CEOs of their business. And their business as a college head coach is that program. They've been entrusted by that university or program, and they have to make decisions every single spring. So you have a fall exit meeting, you have a winter break exit meeting, and you have a spring exit meeting. There are going to be exit meetings during the fall break leading into winter, the holidays, where athletes will be cut. JUCO athletes will be brought in. In some cases, there may be some portal athletes that didn't find a home. Spring, going to be a lot of roster turnover moving forward every single spring at every single level, because the talent, the demand far exceeds the supply for now ready athletes. So as high school athletes and high school parents, at some point, you have to understand the need for physical strength. I'm telling you right now, skill, there are a lot of very talented, skilled high school athletes. They lack size, they lack strength, they lack speed. So do you want to go on the summer circuit and travel around for these tournaments and sleep in hotels, get a limited amount of sleep, don't have any lifting component or strength or foot speed, sprint work associated with the summer? Or do you want to spend significant amount of time year round with regard to not only your skill set development, playing, practicing, but lifting, sleeping, nutrition, proper eating habits, etc., mirroring the same exact time management or routine as college athletes? If you think you're going to be able to just roll out of high school with no routine or time management skills and roll into a college program, those days are done. Division III, Division II, Division I, NCAA, NAIA, Division II, Division I, JUCO. JUCO baseball is loaded to the gills, loaded with elite talent that used to go into the draft or into Division I programs or Division II programs. But because of the age restrictions, when I say age restrictions, a lot of the NCAA athletes are 20 as freshmen and 24 as graduates. You know what this is? Hello, Missouri. Thank you, Eric. Hello, Michelle, and thank you for watching. Going to be a Division I baseball in Maryland. Okay, Michelle. I don't know if you're going to Coach Swoop or Coach Jackson at Maryland, but thank you for watching. We've seen this movie play out before. And for those of you that are not in a cold weather state, college hockey about 25 years ago started to encourage families, hockey athletes to leave high school behind and go play junior hockey. And, high school hockey isn't going to prepare you for college, and you should just go play, in Iowa, go play in Canada, go be a junior hockey player. And it was like $6,000 to $10,000 or $15,000 a year for junior hockey, and you're taking online classes. Well, guess what happened? That whole system broke down. And The same thing is starting to show its face in baseball. Oh, don't worry about going to high school. Come to this baseball academy and you're going to play every day. And we're going to make sure that you're lifting and your routine and blah, blah, blah. Oh, my goodness. We're selling our soul to the devil, all with the premise and promise on some levels of stardom in college and stardom in professional baseball. And these academies are going to ask you for 15, 30. Hey, IMG is close to 100,000, and they have really nice, cafeteria and amenities and facilities. But what we're really doing is we're trying to script an outcome that cannot be guaranteed, because at the end of the day, college and professional athletics require elite skill, size, strength, and speed. You have to go and watch a college practice. You have to go and watch a college scrimmage against their own teams. Go watch them play in the fall. I don't care what level. I don't care what division. Are you really ready for that level? And here's the other thing. And I use this metaphor, and I want parents to understand. You see me out promoting the baseball blue book. I do that almost every single day. I encourage parents. The blue book's been around since 1909. And the blue book was an access point for every college program, coaching staff, major league scout, major league scouting staff, equipment manufacturers, et cetera, et cetera. And I always get asked by parents, well, what is that going to do for my son? You create a free profile, and you are now putting yourself in essentially the baseball world, where you're promoting everything about your athlete, grades, skills. It's like a LinkedIn. But what I want to get parents to understand, to tie this all in, most of you are looking for a guide. Most of you are looking for a tour guide. And so you assume I go to this recruiting guy, that guy played in college, that guy was a college coach. I was a former player. I was a former college coach. I get it, because as a dad about 20, 25 years ago, no matter how much I thought I knew, I always wanted to go outside and ask people I respected. And so bring that full circle. I consider baseball recruiting like hiking, mountain climbing. Every single mountain has its challenges, its obstacles. Some are weather related. Sometimes you can't just walk up an easy path. You have to go through rocks, over rocks, around rocks, through the trees. Do you want your tour guide to be someone who's climbed that mountain for 40 years? Or do you want the guy that's only climbed it occasionally? And I say that because the biggest obstacle that you will face as parents or athletes, social media. You tag every single coach in the country. You're basically just screaming, I'm a me guy. You need someone that you can yell at, confer with, count on. Somebody that has the ability to pick up a phone and call the coach and say, hey, what do you think of so and so? That's what this whole industry is all about. This industry is not look at me, look at me, look at me. And I want parents to understand, yes, you might have a college scholarship in 2025 going to a Division I or Division II school. But what happens next year if you're frustrated? What happens next year if that coach says things didn't work out the way we thought? We're going to have to let you go, or we're going to help you in every capacity going to the portal. Who do you turn to? Let's say you're 2025 and you thought you were going to college, and now you're thinking of taking a gap year. What are the academic ramifications? How do I stay into the network? Those types of questions are the questions you should be asking. Right now, I see athletes that post on social media, hey, I had a great day today, was 4 for 4, and I did great, and I hit a double, and I had a triple, and I had 4 RBIs, and blah, blah, blah. And then a college coach is going to look at that and go, well, what about the team? Did the team win? How's your team doing? So all of this frustration, and behind the scenes, the college coaches are saying, sadly, this does affect the high school athlete, and the target is moving. The target is constantly moving. There is no continuity. There is no path, because everyone's journey is going to be different. It's just the fact. And so I get a lot of parents that get so frustrated because there's no longer that entryway where it goes high school season, travel ball season, college baseball camps, college baseball showcases. No, there isn't. Now you have to have, for lack of a better term, an in. You have to have an entry point on an individual basis. And I want you to understand that, these types of changes, they're just as frustrating to college coaches. Do you think they like reading things like a college coaches over recruit? College coaches don't care about kids. Yes, they do. They care. And no, they don't over recruit. They have to make sure that at the end of the day, their rosters end up being able to be A, competitive, and B, healthy. And so they do have to make sure they have a reserve set up, whether that be through the JUCO level, possibly the portal. 34 roster cap. I think parents need to understand we're just going back to the way that it was. Before COVID, it was 35 and 11.7. And today, the Division One programs that have opted in, they have the ability to go higher than 11.7 and up to a capped number of 34. If they did not opt in, many schools will be capped at 35 at the Division One level with an 11.7 allocation to be spread out amongst 27. Division Two is 36. You're going to see NCAA Division Three teams. You're going to see NCAA Division Two teams. You're going to see NAIA programs at Division One and Division Two, as well as JUCO have developmental / JV teams. Why? Because they can, and they're very beneficial financially to colleges that are looking for applicants and students to increase their bottom line. Does your athlete want to participate in a developmental program? Do they understand the value of spending time on a developmental / JV program? I think the biggest area of frustration for a lot of college coaches, and I'm not speaking for anyone in particular, by the way, is that the lack of preparation that a lot of high school athletes have with regard to actually becoming a college student athlete. I think a lot of college coaches are trying to get the message out that you need to be physically strong. Now, when I say that, parents think I'm talking about 6'3", 210 pounds. I don't care if you're 5'8", 5'7", or 6'4". Your body has to be prepared from a strength perspective, trying to be as athletic, fluid, fast, or speed as possible. Skill set, responsibility falls on you as a student athlete, not on your coaches, not on your instructors. Don't wait for mom and dad to take you to a lesson or you drive the car for a lesson. Try to be accountable for your reps. Do your work on your own in silent when no one is watching. Next, mental resiliency. If in the fall you are told you should do XYZ to bring your game up, are you going to pout, or are you going to look yourself in the mirror and stand up and say, he's right, and I'm going to work harder, and I'm going to make some changes in my sleep habits, study habits, strength habits, etc. College coaches want resilient, strong mentally, strong physically. And I mean, if I show you my phone, not for validation, just for all the responses that I get from college coaches, they're out competing with other college coaches, and I will say to them, "Are you going to any high school events?" And they say, "Not as much as we used to, not as frequently as we used to. We're out watching the summer college teams. Then we're going to have our college camps, in the latter half of the summer and early to mid fall. And what they do is they replenish through the now athletes. And then they look for the arms in the high school class. So all of the elite arms in the high school class, all of the elite left-hand hitters in the high school class, and then all the rest. And so at what point do we as adults want to simply say, okay, I have to adapt, we have to adapt, we have to change, and we have to compete? And what used to be competing with your peers, 16U, 17U, 18U, is no longer applicable, because that's not the way the world works at the high school, college, and professional level, which brings me to my next point. Little League, Babe Ruth, American Legion, they're making a comeback. Now, is it like an avalanche, a tsunami? No, but the numbers are coming back. I watch local Little League. I watch local Babe Ruth. I watch Legion. This year, Junior Legion is seeing a significant increase in numbers. Why? Because you can be 13 through 15. And then Senior Legion, which I believe is like 16 to 19. But that is what is making a comeback. And one of the massive benefits to that, it is now a very inclusive world of baseball at the youth levels, meaning the inner city kids, the urban neighborhoods, they're all competing again, and the best athletes make the teams. You see, a college coach now knows, I want guys that know how to compete. I want guys that know how to try out. I want guys that have a chip on their shoulder and they're focused on being the best that they can be for the betterment of a team, a high school team, a Legion team, a Babe Ruth team. Doesn't matter about whether you make all-stars. It really doesn't. But now, if you start to look around, I'm starting to see a lot of kids in my community, and I live in the greater Lynn, Mass area. And I'm starting to see a lot of athletes that used to be basketball, football. And before I go any further, I don't engage when somebody comes at me about baseball, not enough minority athletes are playing. I agree with the foundational statement, but I also disagree that baseball is trying to push them away. I know that baseball is trying to bring equality back, and I think the renewed focus on team at the youth local levels, Little League, Babe Ruth, American Legion, high school, and so forth, I think is going to help that cause. And I encourage athletes to be more proactive looking for those leagues, because now parents, you have to stop and think, where are you spending your time? Where are you spending your money? And where is it taking you? Where is it taking your athlete? And at what point do we want to, okay, what is the trade-off here? And the trade-off should be, sports teach our athletes to have time management skills, daily routines, most of all, disciplines within a competitive environment. And that's what carries us later on in life as spouses and parents and employees or employers. We learn that every day has challenges, every day has obstacles. And so through the sport of baseball, we learn. And so what we ultimately are trying to do, at least in the world that I work in, is trading athletic ability for academic excellence or academic opportunities. How's that? Meaning, when I was a college coach, I have two brothers right now. One was a good student and a great athlete. The other brother was a great athlete, maybe not as good of a student, but he was capable. And both the boys ended up getting a great degree, and they both have a great quality of life. And that is what I try to impress upon with parents. And I want parents and athletes to understand, you may have to take an alternative route. You may have to do something that you were not prepared to do. But if in the end, with proper guidance and with proper understanding and education of what this all encompasses, you can ultimately get to the goal of becoming a college student athlete and all of the wonderful dynamics that college athletics provides to athletes, and none of which I'm talking about name, image, and likeness or money. I'm talking about camaraderie, relationships, quality of a life experience, being on a college campus in the fall, serving as an underclassman, kind of finding your way as a young adult, and then maturing into a upperclassman, and then, meeting some of your lifelong friends, actually your spouse, your future wife, etc., having relationships with faculty and administrators, not only on your college campus, but within your community. So, as far as college baseball is concerned, we are focused far too much on why we're not going or getting the opportunity instead of, okay, here's my obstacle. How do I get around it, over it, under it? How do I deal with this? And I want parents to understand these settlement changes that we all hear about, these have been going on for close to 2 decades. And now that they're finally being implemented and they're being, augmented or enhanced, and there's been challenges through the court system, and there will continue to be. But for the 2025, 2026, and 2027 high school athletes, you may want to go to Division One, but you don't have any entry pathway to Division One. Okay, so what's your plan? Is postgraduate school something that you should consider? And if so, why? How do I make postgraduate schools affordable? Is that a path? Should I take a gap year? And if I take a gap year, how should I manage my academic transcript so that those hours transfer into the college that I attend? What if you get cut as a college freshman? I tell this story all the time. Division One program, very prominent, what I call top 50 college program in the country, brought in 17. This is a true story. I've said it before. Brought in 17 high school graduates. I want to say it was 3 years ago. Of that, one remains, and 16 of those boys were cut as freshmen during the fall of their freshman year. And you may ask yourself, holy cow, what does that have to do with me? I'll tell you what it has to do with you. They were all very, very skilled, and most of them were recruited as freshmen and sophomores in high school. Guess what they did not have? You guessed it, strength, size, 165, 175, 180s. Not going to get it done. So if we can learn from that and make the adjustments now, a lot of the parents that I work with will always say, are we trending in the right direction? Or they're extremely frustrated and they're angry. And they'll say, well, why didn't we know, about this sooner? Could be a new coach, could just be a new pathway that the school is trying to take with regard to their conference. We see a lot of conferences changing. So I want parents to understand and athletes to understand, you need to always be prepared for landmines. You need to always be prepared for changes. You need a much stronger awareness as to where your student athlete currently fits, where your student athlete has to upgrade, make changes. And this is something that should be done on an individual basis. I'm going to make a statement here, and I want all those people that come at me with this saying you don't like recruiting services and travel baseball. That's not what I'm saying. There's a lot of people I've known in the game have been doing both for many, many decades, and they're very, very good at what they do. What I want parents to understand is the changes now moving forward are basically telling high school athletes, you need to refocus, reprioritize, You need to focus on development. Now, development, it means something different to every single athlete, but development, skill, strength, size, speed, school. School brings you academic money. Academic money is free money. If you're a good academic student, you get a lot of good academic money that's guaranteed for 4 years. Next, name, image, and likeness is not going to be a part of your college student athlete's life for the vast majority of athletes. Select few will get name, image, and likeness at the Division I level. Not all Division I schools are going to be handing out name, image, and likeness. Not all Division I schools have a trunk full of cash throughout their collective. So understand what we're really chasing is opportunity. Opportunity leads to leverage, and leverage leads to options. How do you obtain that leverage? How do you obtain those options? That's what I'm here for. That's what we talk about. This is the content that you need as parents. You need a resource so when things go awry, you have the ability to text, pick up a phone and say, hey, Walt, this is going on, coaching change ahead, or the coach isn't playing my son. What if you're a college catcher? And I was a catcher for a long time, 28 years. And we're a freshman this past year. And there are 4 catchers on now. They're going down to 3 or 2, and your team brings in a portal catcher. What does that mean for your son? What if you're an infielder and your team brings in an infielder, and then that infielder at Division I gets bumped, and now he goes out and he floats around, he finds a home in Division II. You think you're safe in Division II or Division III. You see, college baseball is not just a Division I landscape. It's all of college baseball and the ripple effect. It doesn't just happen one day. It happens over a period of weeks and sometimes months. And so while you think you're in the clear today, another couple weeks, there could be a lot of changes. And I mean now. I'm not talking about next year. I'm talking now. You went into a school and suddenly a player goes in and he is really talented and that school wants that player. Let's say you're at Division III. Okay, Division I takes that player. The guy that was affected jumps in the portal next Monday, and all of a sudden he says, I want to go to Washington and Lee. The head coach there, Ted, at Washington and Lee, he's going to take that guy that's bouncing down from Division I. Hey, no hard feelings. I just got to, this guy's really good. So, and it happens at JUCO. So you have to really be prepared for that as a parent. Tanner, thank you. Robbie, as always, thank you. Marcus, thank you so much. Michael, thank you very, very much. So what I want parents to understand, it's not about being sold something. And I want parents to understand, the biggest dynamic that we all need to be self-reflecting on is this. The whole world every single day is hard. And I want to tell you this, not because I want somebody to break out a tissue, but I want you to be aware of where I come from. My mother died when I was 6. My dad died when I was 16 and a junior in high school. And I lived with my dad and my grandmother. And my grandmother had moved to Florida. And I lived on my own. And as a 16-year-old, I lived in an apartment by myself and lived off my dad's Social Security. My foundation was baseball. And when I was a kid, I went from the worst, and I mean the worst, and that's not an exaggeration, the worst. And I ended up being drafted out of high school. And what baseball taught me was nobody could tell me what I was capable of. If I wanted to hit, I went and hit off of jugs machines. I did things. I hit tennis balls in a gym. My point is, baseball is mirroring life. And so you have the opportunity through the platform of baseball to understand a couple of things. Anything that I want, I have to work for. And I have to have a plan. And I have to execute that plan. I can't talk about the plan. I have to talk, create, and implement. And once I take those execution steps, the only person that should be evaluating me on a regular basis is the guy in the mirror. I don't need to be validated. I don't need to be working out in a cage with 1,000 people who tell me I'm good. I don't need to micromanage. There's no such thing, parents, as a perfect swing, as a perfect pitching mechanical move. There's no such thing as perfect fielding, perfect catching, perfect throws. There are athletic throws, there are athletic fielding, there's athletic hitting. But my point is you evolve, you change, your body grows, and coaches understand and expect that. So don't get comfortable when you are 15 and you're out slugging every other 15 you, because those 15 you guys are not who you're competing with. It's the 18 and 19-year-olds that are above you that are playing in competitive environments that you're not, and they're getting bigger, faster, stronger, and better as a baseball athlete. So I want parents to understand this landscape is very, very unique. And you need to align yourself with people that are bringing your student athlete the opportunities and the mentorship to become a better person, a better athlete, a better student. The whole purpose of this channel was started 5 years ago during COVID, the preamble of COVID, when I started to get calls. How does my athlete get seen now that nobody is allowed to watch games? We're not allowed to play. And it has led us through this wonderful journey where we now share on social media. You know, you hear directly from college coaches. Next week we'll be talking to Arkansas. We'll be talking to Virginia Commonwealth. We'll be talking to Manhattan College. Last week we heard from Roland Fanning at Austin P. We're talking to Brad Nessendorf, LSU Shreveport, whose team went 59-0, which brings me to my final closing point. Parents and athletes, you need to recalibrate your entire outlook and approach to college athletics. It can no longer be about Division One. You may want them, but they may not want you, and they may not need you right now. So getting into college baseball, any level of college baseball. One look at Johnson University. Dave Serrano took a program that maxed out at 5 wins, and he's going to regionals. And oh, by the way, that conference, he's playing the Cumberlands, he's playing Tennessee Wesleyan, LSU Shreveport. I see his athletes. I help him recruit his athletes. They're really good. Brad Nessendorf at LSU Shreveport, he's getting Division I NCAA players. So my point is, it's not how you get in. It's not where you get in. It's when you get in and you maximize that opportunity to get your foot in the door at the college level, create a resume, build your skill, build your size, build your speed, build your strength, build your transcript. So I want to let parents know, I know it's frustrating. It's not going to get easier. It's just not going to get any easier. I want to encourage you to subscribe. It's free to subscribe, and you're going to get updates on all the content. If you think this content is good, let me know. Comment. Please comment. For the love of goodness, can you please help spread awareness to the channel? Like next week, we're going to be talking to Tyler, my youngest son, Tyler, and Matt Tabor. We're going to be talking high-level pitching. Also, on my membership course, I'm going to be releasing pitching basics for the 8 or the 7 through 12-year-olds. That's part of the membership course. So I want parents to understand I'm here to help. If you want help, if you need help, I'm here to help. But remember one thing. When you come at me and you come at me with, hey, I need your help right now. I need you to do this, this, and this. Oh, time out. At least be a subscriber to the channel. At least have some common courtesy to that. And lastly, if you're looking for real help, there's thousands of hours of content on the YouTube channel that I've done over the last 3 or 4 years that's very relevant today that you can watch free free, and I'll point you in the right direction, and then we can have a dialogue. But I am really, to me, I find it tough to understand. I've been dealing with this, or, oh, by the way, thanks for talking to me for 10 hours, but I've already paid this guy $12,000. How do you think that makes me feel? Like, I don't mind helping, but don't tell me you spent 10,000 over here. You're tagging this company, that company. What did that company do that you're coming at me to help you clean up a mess on aisle 2? I'm happy to help, but the biggest thing you must understand, if I'm just asking for the common courtesy of a free subscription, create a free Blue Book profile. That's so simple. I don't want you to tell me I have a profile on that thing. Here's the video. I don't want the video from that thing. I want your video to be on the Blue Book video. And then reach out to me through Blue Book. Send me a message. Be part of my group. I help kids connect with college coaches because I see their videos. So take the time, create your profile on Baseball Blue Book. That's free. Subscribe, interact with the video, share the video, please. Also, I strongly encourage you, for $20 a month, try it for a couple of months. Watch some of the membership courses. I had somebody send me a message the other day. Holy cow, I love this video of you with the whiteboard in behind you and all of the content behind. I didn't even know this was here. That's because you don't look through the whole playlist. And this is truly my last message. I have a playlist on the YouTube channel under Postgrad. And I get so many questions now about postgrad. I've been talking about postgrad for 5 years, and everybody used to tell me I was full of hot air. And now here we are. And everything I talked about has come to fruition. And postgrads play an integral part of the recruiting process, I promise you. And if you don't believe me, I challenge you to send me a message. If you do not believe that postgrad schools, prep schools, are a huge part of college recruiting, send me a message and let me send you where the first, second, and third team all New England prep school kids are going to college. Take a look at that, and then you'll know what I'm talking about. But I have a playlist on Postgrad, families sharing their experiences that every parent should watch. If you're the parent of a 25, 6, 7, 8, you should be watching that post-grad playlist. It's chock full of elite content. Elite content. Not blah, blah, blah of showcase and pop times and 60-yard dash videos. That's not the case. Go watch that. If you have a question, submit it. walter@coachbeede.com. I'll answer your email. Please understand this is a crazy time of year. I'm trying to help portal athletes. I probably helped 5 this week. One's going to a massive Division I JUCO. 2 are going to Division I schools. One's going from a Big 12 to a really elite, high-level, good academic school in the Midwest. These coaches, they want me to help the athletes find their way to some of these hidden gems. That's what I do. And so I want parents to understand, if the college coaches in the college coaching community and the postgraduate coaches and the postgraduate schools trust me, you can trust me as well. I want to say thank you to all those that took the time to watch. Jason, thank you very much. Dark Horse, congrats, Michelle. He's going, Eastern Shore, great school. Michelle, great school. Caroline, thank you for watching. Michelle, congratulations on Eastern Shore. I really want to thank those of you that have reposted this communication tonight. I want to thank everybody over on Instagram. Hey, you go to Salisbury. Salisbury's a great school. Congratulations, Mr. Caputo. I want to let everyone know we're going to have a couple of new coaches joining us next week. Right before the entry into the portal, I'm going to be asking them questions. If you have questions that you want me to ask the college coaches, make sure you send them, submit them to me. Follow me on social media, Coach Beede on X, formerly known as Twitter, Coach Beede on Facebook, Coach Beede on Instagram and TikTok, TikTok, you got to step up your game. I need more followers. Let's go. Parents, subscribe. Join the membership. $20 a month. I'll blow you away with so much content, your head will spin. One of the things that you get with that membership is an evaluation, a one-on-one call with me where we talk. I don't care how long it takes, but we talk about what I see, what I think the projections or the future holds, and then I plug you in. I give you access to the strength coaches, to the mental performance coaches. $20 a month, less than a Netflix fee. Join me next week on Tuesday. We'll be doing another live. I'll be answering questions like this. I encourage you to have a great week in baseball. Start to think about your future today. Let me help you.